My exhausting and unforgiving semester is finally over, and in a couple of weeks, I will be entering my senior year. All my firsts are now going to be my lasts, and truthfully, there is somewhat a bittersweet feeling in doing everything during my first year of college for the last time, enlisting for my courses, and even conquering the ruthless hell months in my university. But over the course of my 3 or technically 4 years of college, I'd like to think that I've gained some valuable experiences that I want to share to hopefully help some lost souls out there. I know you've probably heard a whole lot of advice from your parents, older siblings, or even from high school orientations. I myself have heard a ton of them way before entering college, but there is still so much I wish I knew that would have prepared me before embarking on this new era of my life. On the top of my list, college applications. This season of college applications will have you feeling anxious and overwhelmed, and I think a great deal of that comes from the uncertainty of not knowing what to do next. On top of earning good grades in school, you have to write compelling college application essays, secure letters of recommendation from your teachers, and of course, acquire the documents you need for the entire application process. There is so much pressure to have your life figured out at this point in time that there is little time to think about what you even want to do in this exciting new chapter. If you are watching this video and you are traversing your early years of high school, it would be great to think about the direction you want to go after you graduate. Take advantage of the resources, the people, and the opportunities you have in high school to explore all the different possibilities. You have teachers and counselors that you can approach, you have seminars and programs that you can attend. All of these are great opportunities to discover what really sets your soul on fire. But if you are one of many who haven't had your decisions made up right until you've entered college, listen up, because change is okay. You don't have to have your entire life, or at least the 4 years of your life, figured out, because you can opt to transfer to a different school or you can shift to a different program. I think most of us pressure ourselves into figuring out the program we want to take way before entering college because we might be afraid of starting the race a few minutes after everyone else. We might be afraid of the thought of spending 1 or 2 years in college and finally realizing that the degree programs we're currently in aren't really what we're passionate about. By then, you'd have to think about shifting or transferring, but you'd also have to think about the time you've already spent in that program or university. Before entering college, I knew exactly what program I wanted to take. I had the immediate 10 years of my life figured out when I was in senior high school, and in my head, everything was going to go as planned. When I entered college, yes, I got into my dream university, but I wasn't accepted into my first choice of program. At that moment, I was faced with the choice of transferring to a different university in my dream program or staying in my dream university in a different program. And for many reasons, of which some I regret now, I chose the latter. I stayed in my dream university under a different program. And every day in the duration of my 1-year stay in that program, there was always this thought lingering in the back of my mind that I knew this wasn't the path I wanted. So after a year, I had to decide once again whether I will stay in that program or transfer to a different campus where I'll be shifting to my dream program. Now, you might be wondering why the decision was so difficult for me to make. Well, I've already spent a year in that program, and if I'm going to transfer, I'd have to go through my first year again and fall behind my peers. And I think a lot of us fall into the psychological trap of the sunk cost fallacy. Well, what is the sunk cost fallacy? According to Arcase and Bloomer, the sunk cost fallacy refers to a greater tendency to continue an endeavor once an investment in money, effort, or time has been made. We tend to continue on a decision we made or an endeavor we took once we have invested our effort, time, or money on it, even if the costs outweigh the benefits, even if that choice is clearly making you unhappy or worse off. Say, for example, you bought an expensive sandwich as a treat for yourself. You find out that that sandwich doesn't really suit your taste buds, but you continue to eat it anyway just because you've already spent your hard-earned money on it. Now, this also applies to my choosing to transfer. Okay, I've already invested a year in this program. It would feel wasteful to transfer and redo my first year again. But the thing is, even if you're starting the race a few minutes after everyone else, you will still finish the race just like everyone else. Regardless of the time it took for you to finish college, you are still qualified for success. It is okay to feel lost. There is no one definitive way to go through college. I'm sure your college experience will most likely be different, as it was with mine. Again, if you are in your early years of high school, put some time into thinking about what you really want to do after you graduate, because this will set you miles ahead. But if you've already entered college and you realize that the university or program you're in doesn't really suit the path you want to take or the career you want to be in, talk to your college advisor or your professors and discuss the possibilities of shifting or transferring. I swear, the process isn't as scary as you think. This is your future, not anybody else's. So take the risk of finding the career path that works best for you. Let's say you're done with applications and you're settled with your university or program. Let's talk about all things that concern pre-college preparations. Number 1, familiarize yourself with the campus. If you're moving out of your home to live near the campus, I would suggest moving in at least 3 days before, just so you can settle in. Find the best, shortest, and fastest route to your campus, because I'm not sure if this is also the case for other countries. Probably not, but the traffic in the Philippines, especially if you're commuting, is unbearable. You wouldn't want to rush nor come late to campus on your first day of classes, because trust me, the panic and the anxiety aren't worth it at all. In my case, I'm blessed enough to live within walking distance of a campus, but I still visited the area I think a month before and moved in 3 days before, if I'm not mistaken, just so I can familiarize myself with the route on the way to campus. If you can enter the premises, better walk around your campus and figure out where your rooms are going to be and how long it's going to take to walk from one building to another. If your university even offers campus tours, take advantage of them. This will save you so much time and stress on the first few days of your classes. Second, supplies. In high school, stationery halls are put on a pedestal. You buy sets of highlighters, notebooks, sticky notes, pens, and other stationery supplies. But in college, you don't really need all of them on the first few weeks of your classes. Yes, you still need to buy the bare minimum stationery supplies, but you don't need to go overboard. Ever since the transition to face-to-face classes, I only ever brought my laptop, my iPad in some cases, a pack of yellow pad paper, and a pen. Other than that, I suggest you keep in store a pack of index cards and 1x1 and 2x2 pictures of yourselves. Now, I only ever buy stationery supplies when the need comes. For textbooks, I suggest asking your professors for their primary reference textbook for the class. You don't need to buy a physical copy. I'm sure there are tons of copies online. Sometimes your professors can even provide them for the class, but if you learn better off of a tangible copy, you may ask your upperclassmen first, or you may search on online marketplaces just so you can save your money. Let's move on to actually being in college. I asked over on my Instagram for your questions about the college life, and I am going to try my best to synthesize and answer your questions. So here we go. When I was invited as a resource speaker, one of the most common questions I got was about the workload. How heavy is the workload? How different is it from high school? Do you still have time to enjoy and have fun? Honestly, college is difficult. There is no sugarcoating that. I think I briefly mentioned this in my digital note-taking video, but there is a stark difference in the number of learning materials in high school versus in college. In high school, you may skate by without putting in a ton of effort. You may ace your exams with just the lectures. You may get decent grades even when you're skipping class and cramming your assignments a few hours before. But if these are still your habits, I'm afraid you're up for a rude awakening in college. In college, the professor's lectures wouldn't even suffice to get decent grades, because oftentimes the questions on the exams are completely different from what was discussed during the lectures. You're expected to read the primary reference textbook for the class, additional reading materials, journal articles, and other online resource materials to survive the semester. On top of attending your classes, which is a must in college, by the way, you can't skip them, and even if you can, I wouldn't recommend it. So on top of attending your classes, you have to work on your assignments, research, group projects, and also study for your assessments outside of class hours. I remember staying until 10 or 11 p.m. in campus just to finish a research project. I remember sleeping for only 4 hours in a few consecutive days just to finish studying for an exam. So I would say college will really take up a significant portion of your day, worse, your entire day, especially if you don't manage your time well. But the good thing is that at the start of every semester, professors usually hand out a course outline or syllabus, so you can use this as a guide for the lessons and activities required for the course. Take advantage of the syllabus because this will really help you plan out your study schedule. Because the workload can easily become one of your stressors in college, it's important that you develop and build good study habits early on, because this will immensely help you navigate through the challenges in college head on, and this will also make your college life a lot more bearable. Learn how to manage your time well. In college, it may feel like the 24 hours in a day aren't enough because your exams, assignments, and projects can easily pile up in a snap, but if you manage your time well, you may even gain back some valuable time for yourself. Whether that be Notion or Google Calendar, plot every academic work or deadline in one calendar. In this way, you won't end up missing an important deadline. You can see what tasks are due in the following days, and you'll be able to plan out your study schedule in advance. In doing so, you may even squeeze in time for yourself. One of the most drastic and probably challenging differences between high school and college is the moving out life, because you're starting everything from scratch on your own. You'll learn how to manage your finances, how to cook meals for yourself, how to socialize with people, how to deal with less than hygienic roommates, and everything in between. It is so easy to fall into bad lifestyle habits in college because temptations are everywhere and there is no one other than yourself to hold you accountable. Around UP Manila, where I study, or just the Taft area alone, are full of unhealthy food choices. In general, universities are surrounded with fast food restaurants and convenience stores. Sooner or later, you'll end up finding yourself eating too much fast food or having irregular eating habits. I suggest preparing and cooking meals by yourself, or if you don't have time to do so, subscribing to meal plans where you can get way healthier meal options. Just a fair warning though, these meal plans can be quite on the expensive end of the spectrum. Some of these may not be budget friendly for students, so I still suggest choosing to cook and prepare meals by yourself. There is also a greater tendency to have little to no activity in college because you can get buried by your hectic schedule. Obviously, I have gained weight, and that is because I eat too much and I exercise too little. I would always make up reasons of I don't have time for exercising, or I'd rather spend the time studying than exercising. But the thing is, you won't have time for it if you don't make and find the time for it. Make exercising a non-negotiable in your schedule and allocate a block of time for it. It doesn't have to be such a strenuous, full-blown workout routine. It can be just going out for a 30-minute walk. Just keep your body moving. Who knows, you might even find yourself with a better mood or energy to conquer the day. I have had my fair share of parting ways with people who once held a special place in my heart, and until now, I would say losing friends is never easy. But in college, you'll have to learn how to value the people and the friendships that make you grow and help you become a better version of yourself every day, and how to let go of those that only make you worse off each day. I know the thought of entering college without knowing anybody can be intimidating, but there are many opportunities to make friends in college. During my first year of college, I was already starting to make friends with my blockmates. When I had to transfer to a different campus and a different program, I knew I had to go through the process of introducing myself again, getting out of my comfort zone again, and forging connections all over again. It is okay to feel nervous, it is okay to feel afraid, but you have to remember that all of you are starting college with a blank slate. Everyone around you is getting to know everyone else in the room for the first time. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. During your freshman orientations, try reaching out to a few people. Ask their names, ask their programs, get to know them. You can also attend a few of your school events and approach a few people, because who knows, you may end up finding a common interest with a few of these people, and they may end up being the ones whom you share lifetime memories of fun with. When I transferred, I wouldn't say this was the case for everybody, but I would say the online setup made it more difficult to make connections with my batchmates. But during my first year as a transferee, I was blessed enough to get to know my fellow transferees, and some of them ended up being some of my closest friends until now. Your friends in college, believe me or not, will become your pillars of support during the hardest days of your college life. You'll find yourself leaning on to them, studying with them, celebrating your wins with them, and even de-stressing with them. Student organizations are opportunities to build connections, explore your interests, and hone your skills. During my first year of college, I was hesitant to join any organization because I thought joining them would only be a distraction. I was so focused on prioritizing my academics and not doing anything outside of class hours other than my academics that I soon realized that that was not the best decision for me. I was drowning myself in academic work and revolving my life around university that I easily felt drained, exhausted, and unmotivated. So I made the decision to join orgs as an outlet for myself. I only joined a few. I didn't go haywire. But when I decided to join orgs, it turned out to be one of the most fulfilling experiences I had in college. I was able to work with other people who share the same interests as I do, learn from them as I develop my skills, and also improve in areas that I didn't know I needed work on. You'll grow as an individual navigating through your responsibilities and as a member of the team working with and learning from other people. You don't have to join one though, but if you're interested to do so, I suggest using your first year to find orgs whose missions and projects align with yours. You may end up being interested in several orgs in your university, but I suggest keeping it to a minimum. Use your first year to explore the different orgs in your university, and if you find a few that you're really passionate about, join them during your second year. Some of these orgs are more taxing than you'd expect, so better keep in mind how much of the org work you can handle. Remember, joining orgs isn't meant to be physically and mentally draining. It's meant to give you opportunities to grow and have fun in college. Speaking of fun, you deserve to have fun in college, especially amidst the exhausting university life. I think I was fortunate enough to experience the face-to-face college life before transitioning to online classes during the pandemic, but although I already knew what to expect, transitioning back to face-to-face classes hasn't been easy. While I was fortunate to live near the campus and have home-cooked meals delivered from home, that is not the case for everybody. On top of studying, some people have to work on part-time jobs, and some people have to commute every day. The fatigue in college can easily get the best of you. You may find yourself having a hard time getting up from bed in the morning, finishing your deadlines on time, and even just studying. There were many times in my 4 years of college when I stayed cooped up in my room because I was so burnt out that I didn't have the motivation to conquer my day. But speaking from experience, don't make academics or university your entire life. Spare some time for yourself. On a side note, you can have fun, yes, but don't make having fun as an excuse to cram your assignments and skip classes. If you're planning a day out, make sure you're responsible enough and make sure you're caught up on your deadlines. Again, let yourself have a day of enjoying the things that you love, whether that be as simple as getting coffee outside or hanging out with your friends. Remember that there is life outside of university. These may not be all of what I wish I knew before college, but I believe these are some that can equip you best to conquer this new chapter of your life. Knowing may just be half the battle, but at least knowing can help you prepare for the challenges that await you in college. I am so proud of you for reaching this milestone in your life, and I am rooting for each and every one of you. Thank you so much for sticking around, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!